How's it going, guys? So I'm doing this video at the request of Jean Carlos, my friend on Facebook and fan on YouTube, and he brought this to my attention. So I've been on an extended break from watching any type of WWE programming. I don't see a reason, especially after this, to ever return. The product is cringy, it's unwatchable. As bad as it is, AEW is even worse. But now they have decided to rename the NXT Women's Championship the NXT Championship. And okay, so they've taken women right out of the name. It's not the Women's Championship anymore. And this came hot off the heels of Becky Lynch on the WWE Backstage show that's on Fox Sports 1. And here's the quote right here. So at first I didn't believe that this story was completely true. I thought it was just some dirt sheet chatter because it's not on WWE.com. It's not even on the NXT Twitter page or the WWE Twitter page. But here is the WWE on Fox page actually confirming it here. It had been reported by Wrestling Inc. and Ringside News. But I was like, okay, but it's not really confirmed. So are they really going to do this? Do I want to make a video? Well, here you go. 24 hours later, WWE NXT would stop referring to it as the NXT Women's Championship. And this is in response to Cringy Lynch being on Backstage saying, I think the best thing for the women's division right now is that we eliminate the term women. And okay, so this is hot off the heels of Tessa Blanchard and Impact Wrestling winning their world title. So, go back and watch my video from a few days ago of how I feel about it. I am a fan of Tessa Blanchard. I'm not sure if I made that clear enough in that video, but I actually like her. I think she's talented. I think she she has a good look. She has a way better look than Cringy Lynch. She's also better at promos. But I thought it was ridiculous that, not only did she pin Brian Cage, but she went on and beat Sami Callihan for this title. She's hitting Canadian destroyers on men, flipping them over, flipping 200-pound guys over like they're nothing. So you could see why I don't really agree with that. So, okay, so this is not the Women's Championship for the WWE. It's not the SmackDown or the Raw belt. It's the NXT one. But that this is an experiment. Obviously, if they did it on the main roster, there would be far more complaints. So they probably want to start small. And there's people who are supporting this. And right after this, there's been backlash, to say the least. So the man sets the record straight on her comments from this week's Backstage. She goes on to say, I wasn't advocating for any changes in title names or anything else like I have the power, but simply an equal volume of opportunities that are based on skill and not gender. The term women can limit openings because phrases like there's already a women's match on the show is still in wrestling's historical DNA. We're all just superstars who want our shots and places on the shows if we earn and deserve them. I'd simply love us to get us to a place where there's 3 women's matches on PPV, or 10, or none if it so happens we're not serving the audience. Can you imagine, I think there has been certain shows where there was 3 or sometimes more. They did do an entire women's pay-per-view, but the response was pretty poor, so they didn't go back and do it. They also gave the women the WrestleMania slot. So the WrestleMania main event slot. So I don't know how much more do you want this this feminism movement that's been, because that's what it is. It's the women's revolution. That's what everyone wants to chalk it up to. Oh, we're not keeping the women. This is the problem. I'm sorry to say this, but we just need to honestly say this. And women's wrestling has always been looked at as an attraction. just as cruiserweights were looked up as an attraction, just as hardcore matches were looked at as an attraction. Or you know, you had the minis division, the midget wrestling. You know, there's always been a slot on the show for different types of wrestling and different types of sports entertainment. See, but now because of, you know, things in the news, things in the media, things on social media, you know, the latest trend is, you know, is girl power, you know, and this has been a big thing for a while. It's been very controversial. You know, if a male fan says he's not crazy about this women's revolution, he's called sexist, and, you know, he just doesn't want to see the females get opportunities. But the thing is, this is the problem here. It is a male-dominated form of entertainment. Men have always watched this product more than women. That's just how it is. You know, guys rolling around in underwear, a lot of girls are going to think this is silly. It's, you know, you take a look, especially now at the crowd. There's barely any women there. It's all men, so why does it even matter? You know, like, they're not, and obviously all the Revolution stuff they've been doing, Tessa Blanchard winning the World Heavyweight Championship, is it getting ratings? No. Is it attracting a larger female audience? No. What is it doing? Well, it's empowering women, okay, but what are they getting at? What are they getting out of it? What is it doing? What is the means to the end here? What is the ultimate goal? By pushing the women, by doing this, by taking a title and taking the term women out of it. Here's the problem. They are women. That's the problem here. That's why it's so cringy. They're trying to make it something that it's not. Like, women is a dirty word. You know, it's like, okay, women are beautiful. You know, women have a lot of great qualities. So what is the thing here? You know, why do we have to take that term away? Because that is the thing. It makes more sense that there would be less women's matches on the show because there are less women in wrestling in general. And now they just pick any woman on the roster. And so, like, here, this is what I need to ask. Like, what has this done now? By taking the term woman out of it, you know, you're still going to see women in the ring. So, like, are the announcers not going to refer to them as women anymore? Are we going to completely remove gender for a while? And this had been a long time coming. Because you remember people were saying, oh, they don't call it the men's division anymore. The first time we ever heard, like, men's anything being brought up, it was the men's Royal Rumble and the women's Royal Rumble. Because that made sense because, you know, there's two different genders, you know, appearing in you know, both of those rumbles. So you could see why they might differentiate that. Let me come full screen here as I try to, you know, bring this all together here. So, you know, you've seen the articles, you've seen all pretty much you need to see there. So, you know, so when you label those things, it makes sense because that's what they are. So now... So now we can't use that term because it's derogatory. It takes away. Cringy Lynch says it takes away from, you know, or like, this is a women's match. So she's saying it's like judged on a different scale. It's like, okay, listen, I watch women's wrestling and I see it being sloppy. And that's because the women don't have enough upper body strength. Hey, look, they're in tremendous shape. Look, Cringy Lynch is in better shape than Samoa Joe. She's in better shape than Sami Zayn. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, so that goes without saying, but it's a different type of fitness. You know what I mean? She's not a bodybuilder. You know, she's not China. So, like, it doesn't even make any sense. And this is the developmental, but you know in your heart of hearts that they're still going to go through with it anyway. Because this is something that's been talked about for quite some time. It's just like, I think the Tessa Blanchard thing was like, they saw that some people are going for it. And they're like, okay, well, if people are going for that on a small scale, people are going to go for that on a large scale, like with WWE. So, I mean... It's really cringy because it's so forced. they're like, oh, they're so good that they don't need to be considered an attraction anymore. They are the show. And you've got CM Punk saying that the women are the best thing on the show. Like, they bring this guy in to be super critical of the WWE product, Fox, to bring some controversy, Mr. Pipe Bomb. And this guy gets on there and he's like, oh, they're the best part on the show. And I don't know if he's like, I think he's trying to kiss ass because he wants to get, AJ Lee a job again or something like that. That's what I'm thinking. Because how can you consider this to be the best thing on the show? Cringy Lynch, this is the best thing. And so what are they going to do now? Because now I know they're probably going to just have women's matches, but by calling it the NXT title and you're removing any sort of gender out of the identity of the women's division, I'm going to assume that not only is it not the women's title anymore, it's probably not even going to be the it's probably going to not be the women's division. It's just going to be, that's it, part of the show. Just like they don't call it the men's division. So it's just kind of going to go hand in hand. This is just going to be a match. It's not a women's match anymore. So, I don't know, but I would not be surprised if they see what Impact is doing and they're like, oh, you know what? Let's have Tegan Knox versus Johnny Gargano, right? That's what they're going to do. And by the way, I know that's not his real name. But it really begs the question, how far are they going to go with it? Right now, it's a name in their developmental territory, NXT. I know people hate when I call it that, but that's what it is. I just find it really funny. I find it really cringy that they just got to do that. They just got to, cause a... cause an uproar, oh yeah, we're knocking down barriers, we're knocking down the patriarchy set in wrestling, we're not in the attraction anymore, we're the women, hear us roar. Just let the girls wrestle. Half the time it sucks, but just let them wrestle and stop having it like step on everyone's toes. It's so heavy-handed. Just stop telling us that we need to respect them and all this. It's like, listen, do you notice that since they've been pushing it hardcore like this, that the ratings are not increasing? When were the ratings the highest? When they were doing the bra and panties matches, right? When they were doing the swimsuit competitions. It's sad to say, but that's what men want to see. They want to see beautiful women displaying their bodies. They're not really too concerned about the athletic nature of it because they get that with the men. The show is full of matches. It doesn't really matter. And when you get a women's match, half the time it's sloppy anyway. I don't know where people are getting that it's some type of artistic, amazing thing. It's not the best thing on the show. A lot of times the women's matches end up being the worst thing on the show still. And right now they have, probably some of the best women's wrestlers. Charlotte is great. It's not like Cringy Lynch is a terrible wrestler. She's competent. But it's the character that they've given her. There's talented girls in there, but it's never going to get to the level of what the men are doing. And that's just a fact. It's always been that way because it's a male-dominated form of entertainment. It's professional wrestling. It goes back to the Greco-Roman grapplers. Come on. There's history in it. It's not like, this is something for years they've been keeping the women out of. No, because most of the time women didn't want to have any part of this. It's just a few girls, a vocal minority, started causing an uproar saying they weren't getting their spot, because nowadays everyone's got to be world champion. Everyone's got to get FaceTime on the show. Everyone's got to get all their spots in matches. It's ridiculous. That's why this form of entertainment is pretty much dead. There hasn't been a wrestling boom period in 20 years. And there won't be one as far as this nonsense goes on. So there you go. I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. This is Total Nonsense. I'm not watching WWE. It's cringy as hell. You obviously know this is NXT, but they're gonna start doing this stuff in WWE, and I'm not supporting this at all because it's very heavy-handed, and people are saying, oh, it's just a belt, it's just a name, yeah, but this is going to affect their booking mentality, who gets on the show, and how many matches that they get, and first of all, I don't like that it's endless matches on the show to begin with. So I'm definitely not going to like now that it's going to be, they're going to try to really force it and put more women on the show. Even though they see from a rating standpoint that people don't want to see this type of entertainment because it's not entertaining. So is it really entertainment if it's not entertaining? I don't think it is. So guys, thank you all for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell so you get all notifications when I post all my new videos. And Jean Carlos, thank you for requesting this video. It was a lot of fun ranting on this. And guys, I'll see you next time.